What's up guys, it's Kydro. In this video we're gonna talk about Yinlin and Jiyan. We're gonna talk about both of their kits and who might be the better choice for you, depending on your playstyle. It is important to realize as a Wuthering Waves player that your experience can fully depend on the individual's character's playstyle. Simply said, there is gonna be characters that might be stronger, but in the end you will not enjoy playing them. So if there's gonna be a character that you simply don't enjoy, it doesn't make sense to pull them, even if they are maybe stronger than others. So I would highly recommend pick characters for fun and design. Jump into the trial of every banner before you pull on the banner. There's always a trial. It also should be mentioned that Jiyan's trial will disappear when Yinlin's banner comes. Both of their banners will still be up, but you will not be able to trial Jiyan anymore. But you should have already played him during the story quest as well. So if you didn't reach the point of the story quest where he is playable in the story. First of all, play both of the characters and see who fits more your playstyle. You're gonna spend a long time playing these characters, so it is very important to just enjoy how the character plays itself. Pick characters for fun and design rather than meta. Meta and tier lists always change. People get power crept, whatever. Design and gameplay is forever. So if she's hot, she's gonna stay hot. These characters are the first limited banner characters that we have. Comparing this now to Genshin, we had Klee and Venti, which nobody uses anymore, completely power crept. Or compare this to Seele or the other guy, I forgot his name, but basically every character that is the first banners will be power crept at one point or some point in the future. It could take a while, especially for Yinlin, but maybe for Jiyan, he's gonna be maybe power crept soon. It could also be a while. And another thing, there is basically no reason to pull for any character in the game. The game gives you free 5 stars for free. I could just end the video here and say, don't pull either of them. Just play Havoc, Rover or Dungeon, build your Sun Hua and you're gonna be OP. You can finish all the content and beat all the content, as you guys have probably seen many streamers doing it already with 4-star characters. But yes, this video should help you to decide, so let's talk about Jiyan first. Jiyan is a 5-star broadsword arrow element unit. Damage-wise, very good. Probably the best DPS in the game, especially for aerial damage. Also makes sense since he's the first limited 5-star main DPS. Some people call him extremely easy to play, some call him brain dead to play, since all you can do is basically button mash, press any buttons and everything dies. He's a close combat broadsword user and his resonance skill is a simple forward dash that deals arrow damage. Comparable to Xiao kinda. This one does enhanced damage when you build up his forte, and also when you use his ult, he does like this cool dragon technique. Your attacks are now connected with some dragon attacks, and all you do is basically hold your basic attack button, you hold it down, and all the enemies around you will be thrown around. It's insane. His ultimate attacks are based off heavy attacks, meaning everything on your build should buff up heavy attacks. The ultimate is also the thing that will do the most damage in his kit. If you have half of the forte bar filled, the ultimate will deal another bonus attack, basically doing more damage than when you have no forte. So never use your ult without even at least having half of the bar filled. You can build up your forte bar by just attacking, using intro-outro skills and more. And that's basically his whole kit. As you can see, it's not that much in depth. There's not much skill cap you can do with this character, but at least he is very fun to play, very easy and comfortable to play. You can compare him to some Dynasty Warrior character. That's also one thing I want to talk about, because his kit might seem very easy and very boring for some people who just look for something more in depth, something where you have a higher skill cap. So hardcore players might get bored over time with this unit. Then on the opposite side, Jiyan is the perfect character for casual players and beginners. So if you're new to gacha games or Genshin-like games, this character is amazing, will basically carry you through the whole game because his damage is insane. Even in Z0, S0, whatever it's called. It's also very satisfying to play, so it really depends on your playstyle, as I said in the beginning of the video. If you like those characters that go close combat and go unga bunga mode, he's the one for you. His best team is probably also Mortify and Verena, which probably everybody has already, so just use that team. And if you have that team and you don't want to think too much, you can easily go for Jiyan now and you have one of the best teams in the game. But that's enough of Jiyan. Let's talk about Yinlin, because she might be something for people that are looking for something more challenging. With the big difference that she's not gonna be on field that much, because other than Jiyan, who is an on-field main DPS, who stays on the field 80 or 90% of the time, because you basically lose out damage when he's not on the field, it's gonna be different with Yinlin. It's basically the opposite, because she is a sub DPS. The longer she's on the field, you basically lose out of potential damage, because her whole kit revolves around it. Even her signature weapon incentivizes you to play her as a sub DPS who's not on the field. But that's also where she has the most and highest value, probably the most value out of every character in the game so far. I can also talk about her great design, and Jiyan is also a very great looking character, but I think Yinlin steals the show a little bit if you are into waifus, of course. I still think that Gesholin looks better than him, but that's another topic for a different video. Also subscribe if you watched this far in the video, I would really appreciate it, thanks. But let's talk a little bit more about her kit. Disclaimer, subject to change. Everything is from the closed beta and yeah, could be changed when she comes out. They might nerf her, they might buff her, I don't know. Okay, but what is Yinlin? She's basically the first real 5-star sub DPS in the game. There's nothing that gets close to it. Yinlin's kit is based on buffing up your team and doing off-field damage. She has 2 buffs that are very, very awesome. First, you have a 20% electro damage buff for your teammates, which is especially great for Yuanwu and Kalkaro and future upcoming electro units. But if this isn't enough already, she also has another buff which gives a 25% liberation damage buff, which is an ultimate damage buff, making her a great unit for basically all teams in the game. You want your ults to hit harder, she's the character to go for. But this is not the greatest thing about her, because the best thing about her is she is marking enemies. And if you have Nahida in Genshin, if you played Nahida, which is the most broken Genshin character basically, it's the same mechanic. When you attack enemies, you basically give them a mark, which connects all the enemies together. And if you attack one of the enemies, every enemy will be attacked at the same time, even if they are far away. And this is her whole mechanic. This is where she is shining the brightest. This is the most OP thing about her. Now here comes the thing. When you swap her out with the normal tagging or with the normal mark, this marking on the enemies will disappear. So how do you not make it disappear? You need to upgrade this mark if you want the mark to stay on the enemy. One way to do that is her Forte. You need to fully charge her Forte and do one heavy attack. This will cause a huge explosive attack that you see here and will basically upgrade her marks on the enemies. And yes, that's it basically. After that, this mark is upgraded and you can swap her out. Basically have this mark still on the enemies for 18 seconds and it will cause multiple electro attacks on all marked enemies even when she's not on the field. Her elemental skill gives her enhanced attacks, and if you trigger it another time, deals electro explosive damage. Also, her attacks fill up her Forte bar. While her skill is active, she also gains more Forte. Her ultimate is basically a huge electro explosion, connecting all targets in her area, also giving them a mark, but it's not the upgraded one. You need to upgrade that one too with the heavy attack, and also dealing a ton of damage. And yes, that's it basically. If you like a character that deals so much sub DPS damage even off field, she's the one for you. Now the bad thing about it is that you basically don't see her a lot. So if you are expecting a main on-field DPS where you just can look at her back, let's say her back, and her outfit the whole time, that's not gonna be the case, at least not in the fight. The goal is also just to swap her out as fast as possible so you can deal improved electro damage, for example, with Kalkaro, which he's gonna be the on-fielder. And yes, she's basically made for Kalkaro, or maybe upcoming electro units. I also heard she's incredible with Yuanwu, so you might build up your Yuanwu if you want to. He might even be able to out-DPS Kalkaro. I wanna see that. But yes, if you just don't like the playstyle of Yinlin, she's then not something for you. She's ranged attacking, she's a rectifier unit, and she's very hot. So you have to know what you want. And you can obviously see now that these characters have very different values. Yinlin offering many buffs in general. You can basically put her in so many teams possible, add a lot of sub DPS off-field damage on every team. Makes her somewhat of the most valuable 5-star the game has right now. Simply the reason that there is not a real 5-star sub DPS in the game yet. And she's also an insane electro buffer, which for future upcoming electro units, she's gonna be the must pick. While Jiyan is a very comfortable playstyle unit that feels like a powerhouse and very satisfying to play, he will fill up the main DPS role for many teams. But yes, you need to build teams around him, where with Yinlin you can put her in any team and the team will be better. But Jiyan is still the best main DPS that the game still has to offer, or one of the best ones. It's obvious now, if you're a Kakaro main and you plan to play Kakaro for the next, I don't know, 2-3 months or something, and you should probably go for Yinlin because she's basically made for him. I hope I could give you guys a little insight to help you out which character might be the better choice for you. I know this is not the most in-depth thing, and this is also more a casual perspective since I'm a casual player. Because I'm not a fan of talking about too much about meta and in-depth numbers, but in the end for me I think design, gameplay design and fun about the character's playstyle is for me the most important thing in any video game. If you're still not sure which character is the better choice for you, as I said, wait for the trials. Try Jiyan out in the story quest, and for Yinlin you're gonna have the trial banner for at least 2 weeks. Was it 3 weeks? I don't know. Even if you don't pull any of those, there might be Yinsi coming up in 1.1, already announced, and after there's gonna be Chongli, where you might gonna think about it that these characters might be the better choice for you, but we simply don't know what they're gonna be yet. And I also said already that the first limited characters in any gacha game lose value pretty fast, where it might seem like that Yinlin is gonna keep a lot of value for a long time simply because she's an electro buffer and ult buffer, where Jiyan is just a simple DPS. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you guys for watching this far. If you enjoyed it, do the usual stuff, subscribe, give this a thumbs up, and I see you in the next one, guys. Bye.
Good only one world, one love, but the battle goes on, shadows of mass destruction. Ooh, yeah. Do 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 do. Baby, baby. Do 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 do. Ooh, yes. Do 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 do. Baby, baby. Do 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 do.